Hey, what's up, everybody? Dave here from the band Anger Box, here with my sidekick.
This is Jimmy from Anger Box.
And guys, welcome back to the social. We are back with a special guest, JJ Miller. Give it up.
That's awesome.
Not a lot of people in our studio audience today. This was on the fly thing, so.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Dave, cue up some tunes and we're going to get this rolling.
All right, buddy.
So JJ, as the front man for Wayward Son, since that band's been rolling, it's been almost 2 years now?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
Yep.
What's the future looking like? What are you trying to get accomplished in the next few months? Is there any new material you guys are looking at? Tell me a little bit about, paint a picture for me.
What's going on?
Yeah, we've been picking. That's one thing I can say about Wayward. We do practice a good bit. I mean, there's been times where we would slack a little bit, but definitely we've been picking up a lot more tunes. And, you know, being in this area with so many good bands, you know, you have to stay fresh, you know what I mean, with what you're trying to do as music and as musicians. So
what's your, Wayward Son's a cover band. What's your favorite stuff to cover?
Gosh, man, you put me on the spot, Jimmy. Well, we do Journey, Kansas.
Got Whiskey Leg.
We do Whitesnake. You know, we do Doobie Brothers. We kind of do all kinds of different, you know, music, and we do some country. Steve picks up, different artists that he can cover, and we just practice and put the songs together and go out and try to keep it as fresh as we can. So,
adding Jerry to the mix.
Jerry,
he's such a dynamic musician,
man.
And I know that like the band was great to begin with, but adding him to the mix, he's fun to watch. Fun as fuck to watch play.
Just give you another element.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But he's also great at it too. So seeing him with Wayward Son now, I think that kind of puts you guys in a little bit different category than you were before, because you just have another element in your sound that most bands can't capture. No, there's not a lot of keyboard players like him.
Yeah. You know, when I first met Jerry, you know, these guys would say, hey, you know, he's played with Savage Road and other bands in the past, and he's really a good keyboard player. And we talked about that when we first got together, when I was playing with Wayward from the beginning with Cody, and they mentioned something about Jerry, and I didn't even know who Jerry was. I mean, I seen a picture of him, like, oh, he seems like a cool guy, you know. But when I met him, and I met how humble he was, and how good he is, and his little neat, you know, leg kick up and jump around on stage, that makes me want to drive.
You know, my wife, she goes and sees all the bands too, and she's seen everybody play.
Yeah.
But something about Jerry, when she sees him, she enjoys just what he brings to the table.
Oh, yeah.
So for her to see every musician she sees all the time and one to stick out,
yeah,
that says a lot.
Yes. You know, it just added that layer that we needed to cover some of the stuff that we're covering that has keyboards in it, and he just defines it and brings it to another level of where we were. You know, we were good, but
another step up.
That step up, and have that good keyboard player and he's proactive on stage, and he jumps around and he has a good time, and I love to see that.
There's definitely some passion there.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's coming up gig-wise for Wayward Son over the next month or so? I know of one big one coming up that I'm excited about.
Yes, that's the September the 9th one, yeah.
September the 9th.
Well, let's get them shots out.
West.
Boys. What do you think?
Let's do a shot to that.
Okay.
Here's to that.
Sorry, I poured too many.
Sorry, we're going to have to drink it. Cheers, guys. Cheers. And thanks to Patrick, our manager, for giving us the place to shoot the podcast.
Thanks,
man.
Brother. Cheers, brother.
Had to stop that, guys. So we don't get no. What's that called? Copyright.
Oh.
That was one of our.
You'd have been fun.
You think?
Yep.
All right. Well, here's the master version of Facade. Even though we got to re-record it. Continue.
Out of practice, Dave?
Yes, I am out of practice. Jesus. Go ahead, man.
Cue that back up.
I am.
Let's get rolling.
All right.
Okay, back to the September 9th show. Lash Balls West, Frostburg, Wayward Son opening the show up. Beatles rock show tribute being performed by Enough's Enough. This is going to be an awesome show.
That is,
You know, it's one thing to catch a Beatles tribute. It's another thing when there's a national touring band doing the Beatles tribute.
yeah.
So I think those guys are going to be fire. I think it's going to be a packed house. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen ticket sales. It's going to be a packed house.
It's going to be a good time.
Pretty excited for that show to happen at Lash Balls
Yeah.
West, September 9th. Don't miss it. Wayward Son, Beatles rock show tribute.
With enough, that's enough's enough. That
That's-
80s band, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Enough will be
what
there.
that's what I heard. You know, I was like, well, Beatles band, and you know, their name was enough. Well, that was an '80s band.
Yeah,
80s, 90s
it's
band,
it's
you know?
fucking them.
I know, it's crazy.
I heard some and I actually liked it. I mean, it was pretty good. So.
I found some live stuff on YouTube, and you know, it's live, it's produced well, but man, their fucking harmonies are on point
Yeah.
throughout everything I saw.
That's very important, especially the Beatles. I mean,
Right?
you can't mess that up.
Well, if you're going to be a I mean, there's a lot of tribute bands these days. But if you're going to be a Beatles tribute band, you got to wear it proud, and there's certain things that you've got to do right.
Yeah,
So
you're exactly right.
I'm pretty sure they're wearing it proud and bold right now. And just from what I've seen, what I've heard, it's going to be a great show. Do yourself a favor, get your ticket while you can. Beatles Rock Show, Wayward Son, September 9th, Lash Balls West.
Right on.
Yay.
So
All right. Yeah, I'm like a kid with a new toy.
that's
Shoot
a
me.
little bit about Wayward Son. Let's talk a little bit about you, man. You're pretty seasoned as a musician around here. You've been around the block. You've been around several blocks. So I have a couple questions when I knew we were going to bring you on the show. You just came from California recently. What is life like playing around our music scene locally?
Yeah, compared to there.
compared to the scene that you were involved with there.
That's
Well-
San Francisco, right?
Yeah, you know,
While you answer, I'm going to do the shot. that
a
I
lot
poured.
of bands there
Well, give me another one.
in the
Sorry,
city, there's a lot of, you know, so much a melting pot of music. You know, you even hear bluegrass out there. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Certain different areas of San Francisco has it has a certain uniqueness about it that you can go from uptown, downtown, north or south, and there's every place that you go to, and the club scene there is completely different from just 3 miles across town. And it's crazy because they're relaxed. I guess when you play in a place like that, and you're a good band, people are like look to you and say, "Wow, man, you guys kick butt, man." What the?
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, we just rocking. That's what we do." But I guess they starve for good musicians or good.
Are the
bands.
crowds that you have out there in those kind of places, are they built-in crowds?
Some of them are and some of them not. But the ones that I play at, I had to build
Your
myself
network?
up, my name up, right? So I started in 2010 and played with an all-original band called Speed of Light. We did all originals, and we were in studio and getting prepared to do a couple shows, and I was just getting to the point where I'm like, I want to play in front of people. So that's where I stepped up my game and found some guys. Struggled with a couple drummers, but you know every band.
When you
has an
say
issue.
play for fun of people, you mean because the crowds are bad for usually original music? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, you can go in each place down there or out there is just all depends on what style of music that they're looking for. Like this side of town, they like grunge. That side of town like jazz.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's a piano bar over there. You know, it's just there's so many different forms of music there, but there's, I mean, really, right in the city, there's a lot of good musicians. But if you're trying to get with the musician, it's hard because they're out there playing with a bunch of other people, right?
Sometimes 2-3
So
projects.
it took me about 8 years to find the band, to find the band,
The correct band.
Yeah, and
All right.
that was great. I loved it.
Once you had the correct band there, How often would you hit the same venues?
Once every 2 months.
Okay. So it was like in every other
Yeah,
month
because
vacation.
there was so many more places to play at.
Probably more bands too.
North Bay, East Bay, South Bay. They all had a big piece of the.
So within,
San
let's say
Francisco.
where you was in San Francisco, didn't mean to interrupt you, but like within like a 25-mile radius, how many clubs do you think was around there? 50-mile radius. I'm not familiar with Cali at all.
There's so many. There are so many.
So many.
Oh gosh, because see, you got to figure each county around 25 miles
Right.
have different people, different genres of music, different but everything is really awesome because people are laid back there, man. They don't
Right.
get too up about crap, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's great.
Is there a lot of bad bands
Yes.
that give
Oh, yeah.
a lot of bands in general a
Here's-
bad name?
One thing I can say about West Virginia and Maryland, where I grew up and was born and raised, that I told a couple guys out there, I said, man, I can go back and find the right drummer, the right bass player, the right, guitar player and this and that. Where there, if you're good, you're traveling. Bottom line, you're off.
So if you're good, you're just not fucking you're not working. If you're good, you're already working.
You're working, but you're working on the outskirts of everything there. Because I tried it in the first couple of years in the city. Played at this place called, it was right over in over at North Beach. It was a strip club, and 3 to 7 we would play music, and then 7 to 2 or 3 in the morning, strippers. And it was pretty cool. I mean, that was one of my first gigs there, and thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I think I can get other jobs. And then I started going one place to the next. And
So you can feasibly play 6 days a week out there.
I can call out there right now and just book, 2 or 3 nights in a bar, easy.
See, sometimes I feel like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Instead of working, just play music.
And they're about, like back here, they're into the acoustic stuff too. They dinners Monday through Friday there. And, it all depends on where you're at, in the city. So
I lived in Vegas for a little while, and when I was in Vegas, I got to jam with a bunch of musicians there.
yeah,
I didn't realize how spoiled I was to get to play with so many excellent musicians back here for so many years.
Yeah.
Because I played with a lot of bad musicians there, and I really thought, like, is it everyone like this? But it's probably like what you just said. If you're good, you're working.
yes,
And
yes.
Vegas is probably the same
Yes.
deal. You're not going to find musicians that aren't good not working.
I think brings me back to the point like I was making to you a while back by playing out of town and stuff. When when I heard you guys were playing in BA, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Because you guys are just getting all this awesome music that you're creating and putting it out there to the world, not just around here. You spread out and you started getting a good name for yourself, and people were like, man, we got to have that band back. Next thing you know, you guys are killing it. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
You guys are great.
Personally, I feel that nowadays with the internet and the things that were there that weren't available to us when we first started out, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I don't see how we could be farther if we had 4 people on the same page, but it doesn't always work like that. So we compromise and do what we do. But that's been the story of my life. We get so far, and then somebody quit, or somebody didn't want to do this, didn't want to do that.
Yep.
So you really don't want it. So don't tell me you want to be a full-time musician, or you want to be a real musician. You want to be a fucking hobby guy and play on. Sorry if I'm pissing anybody off, but whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you've always played. You keep playing. You're a musician. Dean's been playing all of his life too, man. I've been doing mine, except I got to subsidize my income because I can't play a lot. Every day here.
Right.
So,
Right. Exactly.
but all right, my rant's over, man.
Good noise.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
So next question. You've been doing it longer than I have, and I know what my journey's been like. But in your journey, what's it like playing the scene now compared to what it was like, 20, 30 years ago?
People back then were like, this is so funny, it's a flip-flop situation. People back then, like, in California are like back then than we are back then in our own area. I'm not lying. You go into a bar and you're playing there and you're a good band, they're just like, what the hell just happened here? And they love it because they don't see it all the time. And every weekend when people are playing, they see it like a Duran Duran band or this band or that band. But when you got like an AC/DC tribute band or this, it's boom. Everyone's like, yeah. And you're talking like 21 and up, like a lot of people.
Nice. Cali. I don't know, man. I've never been there. I'd love to go there, though.
You'd love it.
We talked about it, going to LA many times, or somewhere out that way.
You know,
but I can't afford to fucking
I've never spent substantial time there. I've spent like a week at a time. But what I saw in like vacationing when I was there, you could go to the beach and there'd be a group of musicians just playing at the beach.
Oh yeah, bussing.
You could take a walk down the street, and it's so much easier to run into something music related than locally. You got to find the music related stuff.
That's funny you said that, because when I first started playing in San Francisco, literally, I was like, man, I'm playing with these guys, playing the original stuff, but I was like, it's not making me no money, because I was always used to making some money, right? So next thing I know, I started bussing. I went down on the train. I was making more money just playing for like 5 or 6 hours. What I'd do is I'd move from Civic Center. I'd get on the train, move down to Powell Station. There's 3 or 4 spots there. I'd play my acoustic, and people would come by, throw dollar bills, $10, $20s. I was like, I should have been doing this like 2 years when I first got here. Made me a lot of money.
Let me ask you, did you deal with the rents out there and like the expense of living out there? I mean, did you make enough can you make enough out there to cover everything, or is it?
Well, at first,
tough.
At first, when I first went out was, I was just fresh there, and I didn't. I was like, okay, my first job, I was a maintenance man because that's what I've done for 20 some odd years now. Is maintenance.
Gotcha.
And I was out there, and I got that job, and that went well, but I had to pay a lot of money in child support. So,
gotcha.
and it was hard for me to live in my first 3 years there, because of trying to get myself planted, I guess you could say, and get out there and make money. But what afforded me is my brother Mark. He had a rent-controlled apartment, and if you're on rent control in a beautiful district we were in, I was only paying $845.
Oh, that's great.
And living in a good neighborhood, and I loved it because it was a really cool place. Me and Mark had, we're brothers.
Right, so when we go in, tomorrow morning we heading out?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my God, dude, don't tempt me.
So we were on rent control, so that kind of helped me get to where I need to be, and then I've just found a dream job, and they still call me and want me to come back.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's great because I got a 2-bedroom, my salary, a 2-bedroom, and my phone bill taken care of every month. And I even made my salary. So I was living pretty good. But here's the pros and the cons, you guys. Everyone says, oh, that's so great.
Right.
The pro was, I was living pretty good, and I had my kid out there and at the time, and everything was going great. Nothing, out of the ordinary. But then, next thing you know, 2 years after she got there, boom, COVID hit. So, and that was just like, she got to see the city, she got to see how it operated and stuff. But, yeah.
Ruined the experience.
Yeah, it did.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah.
And now here you are. But good, Cumberland got you back.
Hey, brother, I got to say, man, there's so much talent in this area. It's just, it makes me proud to step back as an old dude now and look at all of this music around me and just like embrace it, because back then I couldn't embrace it because I was so engulfed in my demons, pretty much so.
Mm-hmm.
So, not saying all those gigs and times back then were bad. They were a lot of beautiful experiences, but just had that moment.
What kind of shows do you like to play? Like, I know that in our situation, there's a lot of different kind of shows Angerbox can book. But through the years with you've probably been involved in so many different kind of events. What kind of show really you do get fulfillment the most out of?
Well, there's nothing like, a personal intimacy with your crowd of people in a club, okay? Because you can go back and talk to all the big wigs and stuff and say, hey, what was your most favorite times? And they would say, when I started playing music, because I was creating, I was inspired a lot, like really inspired, and you were always wanting to be better than the next guy because you always seeing all these good musicians around, and you're like, I gotta do my craft. But now it's just I see such a broader, I guess you could say, music genre of everything. Like back then you had country, but it was the older country, and then you had classic rock and roll bands, and then you had a couple underground bands, and then you had Glen Canyon in
Window
Pane,
yeah.
and then
what's that, Glenn?
And then you had The Limit, and you had you had all the older bands like that. You know what I mean? With Mac and Gals, all them guys played in so many different bands back in the day that I played with, and it's just the difference is now it's just there's so much broader. The metal, the alternative, they didn't have that. They didn't do that back then, did they?
Right. No.
Not unless you were underground doing it and dark metal or whatever. But you didn't see that. I see it now, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is what a lot of people need to see, because it just wasn't. I don't know if it was relevant back then. That's not the word. It's just there wasn't a scene for it at that time, I guess you can say. Everyone was playing the same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I tried to get away from it and go push the heavier edge. I was bringing metal bands from the Manor and to open up for Malice, or we would open for them and let them guys tear it down. And the Democrat Club said it was all good, but the broken tables and the blood on the floor. But it was a hell of a good time with that.
Oh man!
So with all the bands and talent that you see locally and the venues that are popping up, because in my opinion, in the last couple of years, a lot of venues have been sprouting up. All right, we want bands. We want to book bands. There's so many opportunities for different kind of shows or different bands to get to work together that haven't got to work together. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see, and I hope that we've started a trend with something, but I can't wait to see all these bands really start mixing it up with each other.
Yeah.
Instead of, competing for that same crowd all the time. So to top that off, Lashballs West, Wayward Son, Angerbox doubling up for the first time ever. And that shows November 23rd, Lashballs West.
I can't wait either.
So
I've been wanting to do this. I've told you guys many times.
I'll tell you right now, if you're a bar owner out there or a venue and you call to book Angerbox, yes, we can talk. We'll negotiate. But you know what's more exciting to us? Let's book an event with multiple bands. Yeah. Let's make this a big show that matters.
Yep.
Who gives a shit about booking Angerbox? Let's book an event. Make it something that we all remember. So I'm challenging all of you bar owners out there. Quit booking one band every weekend and expecting any kind of results from that. Book an event. You're already invested into the show. Empower these bands to work together. There's enough of them locally. Quit competing against each other every single time.
As long as I've been playing music, you guys,
let's get in our shot, Jimmy Joy.
Let's do that.
I never thought of myself. A lot of people can kind of main somebody, like, you know what I mean? But I've never considered myself a one person, identity. I always looked at it like, if I'm in a good band, I play my part, I do my job, and I put on a show and have fun and all that stuff. It's not, for me, it was never about, look at me. It was all about, look at this,
right?
What we had. And I've never really got too much into the conflicts, because I just get like really weird about it, because I do want everyone to play together and have fun and jam and bring on a new something new and keep it new. You know what I mean? That's the
something
thing that
different.
I think. Yeah, something different. I think what you guys done doing this. I think what you guys done at the mountains. The sky's the limit, and you guys are doing it and bringing it, and you keep bringing it, and that's what pays off in the end. consistency.
There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of help that goes into that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Passion has a price tag, and sometimes the paycheck's not that great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to say, this is my passion. Not so much just playing with Angerbox and playing, with my own band, but having a functioning, thriving music scene for all of us to play in. And that goes for bands, bar owners, vendors that get involved in some of the shows, bands that are traveling. We'll get opportunities to bring all kinds of bands in if they know shows are happening here. But if it's just one band playing the same 3 sets every weekend, competing with 4 other bands by themselves somewhere else, everybody is hurting each other's draw trying to get that same crowd. Working together on these shows, if there's already money being invested. I'm just pitching ideas. I haven't talked about this, but
yeah.
Jim Lashballs has the Lashballs bus. He pays a guy to drive the damn thing. Why not a booze cruise that stops here, fucking goes to this stop,
yeah,
goes to this stop. Everybody
totally
gets
agree.
to share that crowd, can work together to work on their same night.
I agree.
I don't know why we're not doing it. The tools are there to use.
Well, maybe that's what you're putting into motion.
I put so much into motion, but I want somebody to come to me like, dude, I see your vision, but here's what I'm seeing, and it's 1,000 times bigger than I'm even thinking about. That's what I want to happen. But I really, anybody that's watching, anybody that shares the same dreams as me, I want to make a music scene happen. Genre doesn't matter. Originals, cover, tribute, I don't give a shit. I respect the music. I want you to be a part of that scene. The scene wants you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Come seek us out. Seek Dave out. Seek me out. I will get you involved in a music scene. I'm working my ass off every day, focused on this music scene. I want you involved. Just get in touch with me. The payday might not be the same the first time that you played a bar 3 sets by yourself all night, but I promise you're going to have a way better time playing to more people, getting better opportunities, playing way less music, getting to put all of yourself into that 1 set rather than those 3 sets. Give me an opportunity to show you what booking can be like rather than the way booking has been.
Thank
you.
That was an Emmy right there, man. Well said.
Cheers to that, by the way.
Cheers, man. Well, guys, we like to keep these at about 20 minutes. We're at 27. Jimmy, any last announcements? By the way, this is Travis Manning's track.
Yeah, shout out to
Roland.
Travis. We played some Travis tunes in
Yeah.
this. And JJ, man, thank you so much for coming on the social. I'm sure I'm going to have you back on at some point in time.
And if any of your guys like Steve or Jeff want to come on, set us up. We only film on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see anybody on the show, reach out
Let
to
us
us. Let us know. We'll set it up.
But we got to do it on Tuesday, guys. So hit us up.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
All right.
Later.
Thanks for watching the social.
Cheers, guys.